Okay, so today we're jumping into a story that, on the surface, feels really simple. It's about rescuing a kitten. But, as we start to peel back the layers, it really makes you ask, in an act of kindness, who's really doing the rescuing? This is the story of Whiskers. So, this is where it all starts. In a moment of just total desperation. This line paints such a clear picture, doesn't it? You can almost feel that cold rain, that heavy, crushing feeling of being completely alone and forgotten. I mean, this is basically rock bottom for our little hero. All right, so let's really dig into this first part of the story, A Cry in the Alley. This is all about getting a sense of just how bad things were? Understanding that complete isolation that was Whisker's entire world, right before one single choice changed absolutely everything. And look at how this breaks down that feeling of helplessness. It's not just one thing. You've got the physical misery, that cold, rainy alley. Then there's the emotional despair of being alone and forgotten. And then the one that really gets you, his soft cries were going unheard. It's the combination of all three that creates this perfect storm of vulnerability. But that cry doesn't just fade into the noise of the alley. And this brings us to the story's big turning point, an act of compassion. This is that exact moment where one person's decision to just do something completely alters the course of a life. And it all comes down to this one simple, powerful idea. Someone noticed. In a world that's always pulling for our attention, just the simple act of seeing someone, of really noticing, well, that's where every rescue truly begins, isn't it? So, why did this person, Sarah, actually stop? It wasn't some logical decision or a sense of duty. The story tells us it was her heart telling her she couldn't leave him there. That's just pure empathy in action. It's that gut feeling, that emotional response that just demanded she do something. And I love how this breaks down that empathy into actual steps. It's not just one big event, it's a sequence. First, you have the pause. That's the choice to stop and really see. Then the lift, the moment of direct intervention. And finally, the shield, the act of providing immediate protection and comfort. This little three-step process is basically a blueprint for how compassion turns into real care. So, Whiskers is out of the rain, but the rescue, oh, it is far from over. Now comes the really hard part, the journey to trust. This is where the story shifts from just physical safety to emotional healing. And that's a slow, really delicate process of building a real bond. So, the slide here defines safety as being protected. But what did that actually feel like for Whiskers? Well, it meant warmth instead of that biting cold. It meant comfort instead of constant fear. And it meant consistent care instead of being forgotten. It wasn't just about being in a new place. It was an entirely new reality. And that new reality wasn't built in a day. This timeline really shows us how slow and deliberate that healing process is. You go from the raw fear of day 1 to just the first hints of hope around day 7. And it takes a full month to create a real bond. It's such a powerful reminder that trust isn't a switch you can just flip. It's a bridge you have to build, piece by piece. And the end result of that whole journey, it's captured perfectly right here. He would curl up next to her, purring. And that is so much more than just a cat sleeping, right? That is the physical proof of trust. That closeness, that soft purr, it's communication without any words. It's him saying, I'm safe now, I belong here. And that purr becomes a symbol. It's described as a gentle reminder of gratitude and love. It's like this beautiful feedback loop of compassion. The kindness she showed him is returned with this constant, gentle expression of happiness and connection. And that feedback loop, well, it brings us to the biggest, most powerful question in this entire story. Who rescued who? This is where we get to explore this idea that the rescue wasn't a one-way street at all. It was a mutual transformation. This sentence right here, this is the one that flips the entire story on its head. It forces us to look past the obvious physical rescue of a kitten and think about a deeper, more profound change that was happening for both of them. And this slide just lays it out so clearly. For Whiskers, the journey was from fear to safety. That's the rescue we all see first. But now look at Sarah's journey. She went from being just another anonymous passerby to becoming a protector, a caregiver. She found a new purpose. By rescuing Whiskers from that alley, she kind of rescued a part of herself from just walking on by. And so we end right back where we started, with that one big question. This story is such a great reminder that kindness is never, ever a one-way street. So the next time you get a chance to help, whether it's a person or an animal, it's worth remembering that the act of giving might just be the greatest gift you end up giving to yourself. The one being rescued might just be you.